Hello everyone, today I'm in Basildon, a little town in Essex, and it's not the most picturesque of places. You know, it doesn't seem like anything of much interest, but actually it's one of the new towns created after World War II to house people coming out of London after the Blitz and stuff. A lot of homes were obviously destroyed in London, and this is one of the towns that was created for people to move into. There's a couple of buildings that are examples of the modernist architecture, brutalism and stuff like that coming out in the 50s and 60s. A lot of people hate it. It looks, you know, a bit worse for wear these days, but back then it would have been like space age stuff. I'm not really sure what we're going to actually get up to, but I'm meeting my mate Jack and we're going to have a look around the town, see if we can have a look at some of these old buildings built as part of the housing efforts under socialism, under Clement Attlee as the Prime Minister. We're going to have a look at a few of these buildings. We're going to see if we can get inside them. We might even see if we can get in on top of any rooftops. Who knows? I don't know how much luck we're going to have. So we're going to have a look and see what we can get away with, basically.
Legend has it that fountain hasn't worked.
Oh, sorry, this big building in front of us, this is Brooke House. It's got to be one of the most impressive buildings built in Basildon after World War II. It's built in the early 60s and it's basically the T-Rex of buildings. Doesn't look like much, but it's basically a huge concrete cube on top of some legs. It's like the T-Rex of buildings. I can't believe it can even support its own weight. It's not a very nice place to live now, as you can imagine, but you can't help but find the architecture quite interesting. And as Jack points out, this fountain hasn't been running since we've been alive, but it's a listed building, just like Brooke House, so it's obviously still historically important to the town. And inside, in Eastgate Shopping Centre, they're actually refurbishing some of these buildings and this whole area of the town. So you can see some of the old photographs that they've put up on a display about this area, and you can get a sense for what these buildings looked like back in the 60s before they were left to kind of lose their way. And as you can see, it's the 70th anniversary of the town. Apparently it's 1949 to 2019 when I filmed this video. And look here, we're on top of the Eastgate Shopping Centre car park roof, which is open to the public, and you've got a good view across the town, including Brooke House, which dominates the skyline. And then we decided to go down a fire exit because we're lazy, we don't want to go the normal way out, so we snuck through this door that we weren't meant to go to, and we're just looking down into the loading bay of all the shops and stuff, going down the stairs here. Not particularly exciting. This is about as naughty as we were on this day. You'll have to watch part 2 if you want to watch us go right off the beaten track. Luckily the door at the bottom was left unlocked.
Come out in the loading bay.
Then we started walking to some of the other car parks. This is a much older car park. Again, it's not great, there's not much to see here. Quite incredibly boring really. And this isn't even one of the old original buildings from Basildon. We couldn't even get up those stairs that look, we've just tried to get into. There wasn't really anywhere to explore. You got the old, I think that's a college building or something that's been built, and look, it's all brightly coloured. It's very contrasting to the old building of the 60s, but perhaps equally as much of an eyesore. And look, we've even got this old Army and Navy store down the bottom there.
The police station is just there.
Oh really?
So
I see.
if you do trigger an alarm,
So we found this strange little street called High Pavement, and it's not really a street at all. It's literally amongst that car park, and it looks like at one point it would have had shops down it, but now it's a ghost town. What was quite interesting was this old little burglar alarm that looks like probably the most historical piece in this whole town. Next we snuck into some offices. Couldn't get onto the roof though, we just strolled straight in through the reception, but yeah, it didn't really lead to anything exciting. It was just a bit awkward trying to work our way out.
Because he lived with his granddad.
I see.
My dad's called Andy.
All right.
To top off this incredibly boring adventure, we snuck into the Holiday Inn. What an amazing way to end the trip. I'm joking. It was absolutely boring. There's no way onto the roof.
This is as good as it gets. Brilliant.
Oh. Shit, Holiday. What's the point in even filming this? Like, I don't know. So, after questioning filming this, we returned to the town about half a year later, and we met up with another local explorer who showed us out onto the rooftops of some of these buildings for a far more exciting time. So, if you do want to see this, stay tuned for the next video.
Have you done it before or not?